Okay, I have a lot on my mind this afternoon. Like I said, I've been moving away from schools. That's coming down to a close, and I'm definitely getting back into my video blogging. I'm getting back into what I really enjoy doing, bringing awareness to communities about their rights and voting and everything. And so we all are really talking about the case um, with the man down in not Missouri, Minnesota. He died in the custody of the police there. And I know recently before we were talking about the Ahmaud case, and I know people, I'm not excusing whatever crime or whatever thing they did to get arrested. I'm not excusing that. But at the same time, this whole scene, this whole incident was extremely awful. And I do not agree with how this man was handled. Nobody should be suffocated to death in the custody of the, the, the police. This is absolutely wrong. This is absolutely uncalled for. And yes, I understand sometimes criminals, or excuse me, not criminals, but suspects may resist the police. But when you have somebody all the way down on the ground and completely subdued and handcuffed, there is no need to use continuous excessive force. And yes, I support the police, the fire, and the EMS, and the military. I have a special place in my heart for them. Yes. But what happened right here, was an utter disgrace to the police force and a complete disregard for this man's right to life, liberty, and happiness. The police are supposed to protect and serve, and they're supposed to uphold the Constitution and the law. That's their job. However, these men did the complete and total opposite. And I did not even know, I thought it was just one man on him. But when I kept looking further into the case, I saw a camera angle from a different standpoint, a different angle, and it had almost four men on him. That's too much weight on somebody. The man's inside was being pressed into the ground, and as a result, he died from suffocation. And if anybody's gonna sit here and justify that, if you're on any of my social media, please unfriend me, because first of all, I don't condone police brutality, and I don't condone the police themselves being brutalized. And mistreatment or killing from either side is wrong. And people want to bring up what about all the killings in Chicago? Guess what? I feel the exact same way, because killing is killing, murder is murder, and it's wrong. I don't care what side of the street or what side of the track is coming from, it's still wrong. And as a child of God, you see all these murder spirits and things, and it needs to stop. We need to pray like no other, and we pray against these spirits that's running amok. It's got to stop. And I don't care who or what dies. When I see another, for example, in Chicago, when a lot of the assailants was black on black crime, I feel the exact same way, because why? You're taking a life that you did not create, and you're taking it not out of self-defense, but out of hate and malice and out of murder. That's wrong. And then you got some conservatives saying, well, he deserved it. I said, first of all, he did not. And this man, whatever he did, he had the right to a fair and speedy trial to determine, okay, should he go to jail or should he do community service or whatever he did. This man was denied so many things as far as his rights. He denied his life. He had the right to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. He was denied the right to a fair and speedy trial. He got none of those, because you had people like these 4 officers that I know now were fired that took his life. And nothing you can say under the sun justifies that. And I had a few conservatives I had to block on my social media. He got what he deserved. Well, was he resisting the officers? okay, I could see this man was actually shooting or trying to kill the officers, then that's one thing. But this man was completely on the ground, fully detained, fully subdued, and they still they pressed down on his lungs and pressed down on his body. You have three officers and I think a fourth one on you. That's like almost 600 pounds of weight. Because a lot of police officers ain't small. And for him to be under all that weight and him to continue plead, I can't breathe, and you have little to no regard for his life, that's of the devil. That's just wrong. And like the Bible says, that Satan's job was to kill, steal, and destroy, and that's what they did with this man. And secondly, people want to stick race to this. Listen, I don't care what race the officer is. I don't care what race the man that died is. The race doesn't matter to me. Because the very first time I saw it, I didn't even see the color of the police officer. Because only the first angle I saw when I saw the incident was you could see the police car, but I couldn't see the face of the officer. I saw his knees and his man's back, and I saw the man on the ground. I only saw him. And from that point, I was very upset because who does this? I don't care if the officer was black, and I don't care if this man was white. I would still feel the same way. So I'm sorry. If you come to me with that race mess, get thee behind me, Satan, because that is a lie. That's a distraction. And I will not even entertain that point of it. And if you think this is just strictly about race, I don't want to hear it. This is about the spirit behind what they did, and the spirit that they had in them was not of God. That's the point we need to be looking at. So that's that. And thirdly, I was talking to a few conservatives, and I really realized, first of all, I am a child of God first. And because of my beliefs in God and following Jesus Christ, my lifestyle is going to be conservative because when you follow the Bible, you automatically will lead a conservative lifestyle. And because we live in a world and we have to use a world system, not depend on it, but have to use a world system, I vote Republican because that's what the world recognizes me as far as voting and seeing things in a strictly physical perspective. So again, I'm a child of God in the spiritual sense. I'm a conservative by my will, my soul, if you will, and then my flesh. The physical side, the physical sense is the Republican part. And it goes in that order. So, chatting with a few conservatives online, and a lot of them, especially Christians, and I thank you, Christian conservatives, for standing up for what's right and saying what thus saith the Lord and being led by the Spirit of God to say the right thing about this. And I have friended a lot more Christian conservatives in probably the past few weeks than I ever online in my social media life. And one of my fellow conservatives pulled up a post that Candace Owens wrote. Now, I'm not going to lie. When Candace Owens first came out, I was a bit skeptical because it didn't seem genuine at first. And I'm not knocking because she's from the elite or from a rich family. That's fine. But the only thing I saw with her is that she's coming from a different perspective than, say, me, where I'm in the middle working class, where every dime that is circulated or moves around, it affects us directly. And I was thinking, this girl is young, she's college age, she is haven't really gotten a full grasp on life yet. She's young. And I said, well, she's got a lot of growing to do. I understand. So I gave her some space. I said, this is a young woman that she's being faced with a lot of things. I understand. For someone at her age to face all the backlash and all the things that's happening, I understand. This girl is, 20-something years old? So I understand. That's young to be faced with all of this stuff and to be in the media constantly. That can take a toll on you. I understand. And so I backed off and gave her some space. And then I saw where she was really calling out the dirt on the Democrats calling out the dirt on these communities and things, which I solely appreciated. And sometimes, and I'm not sticking race in this, but sometimes with our people, with black people, since we lack the faith thereof to go and handle things on our own, we have to wait for somebody else to do it. It's like we have to see somebody else doing it before we do it. And well, where's the faith? You have a God in heaven, the maker of heaven and earth, that will carry you through anything. You don't have to wait on this person and that person to do it before you do it. Now, if you're looking for like a mentor, that's different. But you shouldn't have to wait for someone else to come along before you start doing something. And I think that's what a lot of blacks and a lot of conservatives did with Candace Owens. They pretty much, in a sense, idolized her, like, oh, she's a spokesperson for the black conservatives. She's a spokesperson. Okay, to some extent she is. She does speak for more of the millennial age group. And there goes my house phone. Please don't leave a wrong message. Okay, it's probably a telemarketer. It's so funny how I blocked a few numbers and now I got more calling. Anyway. So anyhow, I admired her for the courage she has, for taking a stand in such a tumultuous social media and America right now, racially, politically, everything. But as things started to go on, I started to see this trend again where people were idolizing her and putting it all on her to do all the work for blacks, conservatives. I respect her view. I respect her as a person. But she can't fully speak for me because, number one, and this is where people get it wrong, just because she and I are the same demographic, both black and female, we come from completely opposite backgrounds. And her viewpoint is going to be different from mine. She's coming from the rich elite side, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm coming from the working middle class side. There is there's a mismatch in between in a lot of things. We do have to fight the working middle class. We are fighting politically, not realizing it. Every day in the trenches, we're fighting against these high taxes. We want school choice. We want our kids out of these crime-ridden neighborhoods. We're trying to get the corrupt politicians, the dinos and the rhinos out of Congress, out of the cities, out of the states. We're trying to get these people out. And my perspective of Candace Owens is that she's coming from, if you will, for lack of a better word, the glamorous side of this fight that we're in. And I think as she gets older, she will begin to see how it doesn't just take being a spokesperson. It's people like me, the working middle class, that are affected by every swipe of the pen that legislature writes, and every swipe, everything that they bring down and put up in Congress. We are the first ones affected by it, the middle class. We are affected by every single thing that Congress does. And little people realize how we have more of a fight in us. It is like rooted in us more than the next group. So with that being said, number one, let me just clarify my points that I've made thus far referring to Candace Owens. When she first came out, I was a bit skeptical. It just didn't seem genuine. In addition to that, I felt like she wasn't really reaching the working middle class Americans. Number two, there is some mismatch because we come from opposite backgrounds. Not knocking her because she comes from a rich family and anything like that, but there is a mismatch somewhere to where she has lost a lot of Americans, especially black Americans, when it comes to her approach. And in addition to that point, I believe that people waited too long to come and take a stand. It shouldn't take just solely her doing the speaking for black conservatives. It should be more conservatives out there from all walks of life speaking out against this corrupt government. You can't just have one viewpoint speaking for all black conservatives or all black females that are conservative. And I feel like people lack the faith thereof to go out and start it themselves versus just looking for a mentor. If you're looking for a mentor, that's fine. But we should not sit here, and that's the problem when I have to talk at this when it comes with black, with some of us blacks, even the conservatives. We got to wait for someone to come along before we speak up and say anything. It shouldn't be like that. You have a voice inside of you that needs to be heard, that needs to be spoken out. Don't wait until you have a movie star or a celebrity in place before you say something. Oh yeah, yeah, I agree with her. You are your own self. You have your own voice. This is where the democracy part of the Constitution comes into play. Everyone has a voice, but at the same time, the majority still wins. Now, with that being said, my third point about Candace Owens, which brings me to the conclusion of why I unfollowed her. So, in reference to this man that died in Minnesota under police custody, one of our fellow conservatives pointed out a post that she put on Twitter. And I was very appalled by what she put. First of all, I don't belittle anybody's death at all. I don't care if it's somebody caught in gang crossfire. I don't care if it's someone that was shot by a cop. I don't care if it was a cop being shot by a suspect. I don't care if it's a black on black crime, white on black crime, whatever the case is. A death is nothing to be insensitive toward, and we should never rejoice in someone's downfall. Like there are rumors going around, there are things that are going around saying that a lot of these corrupt cabalists and elite globalists have been executed. And I am for the relief of justice being served, but I don't celebrate the fact that they have been executed. And that's something I would never do. Now, with that being said, so here is Candace Owens' post on Twitter, and it reads, percentage of people killed by police officers annually. Whites 55%, blacks 27%, and Hispanic 19%. And she said, can anyone provide me the name of even one Hispanic or white person that was killed by a police officer this year? And then she goes and says, this is a BS election narrative. First of all, this is just as insensitive as the Democrats are to black lives. It's like she's taking the reciprocal of Black Lives Matter and twisting it into a conservative viewpoint, and it is not working. It has backfired. Because number one, again, I don't care what race died at the hands of police. Anybody that died wrongfully is something serious. And I felt like her post was very insensitive towards the fact that this man died unjustly in the custody of police. And then people said, well, what about the people in Chicago? There's no outrage about that. It should be outrage about any death that's wrongfully done. It should be equal outrage or equal heartbreak for both. My heart breaks just as much for the Chicago killings as much for this man that was killed by the police. It does not matter who caused the death to happen. The fact that it's wrong is wrong. All murder is wrong. I don't favor one party over the other. People say blue lives matter and this and black. I said all lives matter because we were all created by God, the maker of heaven and earth himself. I don't like when people bring up, oh wait, you know how many, it does not matter by race. I'm tired of you classifying everything by race. And this is what led to me unfollowing Candace Owens because this is just ridiculous. And this young lady, I mean, she's young. She's got a lot of fame under her belt. She's been, I'm pretty sure, around the world. She's been to different college campuses. She has pulled a lot of people to the right. She is really reaching out to her millennial generation. That is great. And I will make some room for some mistakes because this woman is she's young. She's very intelligent. but I know she's still young. I feel like she has lost connection with the more old school black conservatives. I feel like she has lost a lot of connection with them because you have somebody younger telling older people that have already been through this stuff. And I admire her chutzpah. I admire her just going about what she had to say. But this post right here was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I unfollowed her on social media because this is not good. It's very insensitive. Yeah, you're classifying by race, basically who lives matter, and you're going to tell me because oh here goes another black man that was killed by cops that happened to be white. Well, okay, yeah, he died, so what? Okay, well, what about the black on black crime? I don't like when people say that because first of all, killing is killing. I don't care who did it. I don't care what this man did. He did not deserve to die like that. He did not deserve to die like that. And I had to say some of you conservative are insensitive and very unforgiving, and it's not a good look for our side. When it comes to these liberals and conservatives and things, first of all, I lead a conservative lifestyle, but to be truly honest, I'm with the party of Jesus Christ. Because liberals and conservatives can both screw up things sometimes. And this right here, this post, like what she put, was one of them. I'm a child of God, and it breaks my heart to see a life taken, and especially taken wrongfully. It's just not right. I don't hate this young lady, Candace Owens, or nothing. I know some people go in there and bash her and all that. I don't do that, but I no longer will be a fan of hers because I feel like this post really was. This was across the line. Yes, the Democrats like to politicize when something happens to a black person. I get it, and sometimes the conservatives like to be insensitive toward the fact that a human's life was taken, and want to belittle the fact that he died, as in he got what he deserved. Nobody, I don't care what race deserved that. I don't care if the man was white and it was 4 black officers doing it. I would still feel the exact same way. So that's why I said at the beginning, anybody want to default to this being a racially charged incident, get you behind me seat with that mess. I don't want to hear it. That's just the flesh. And again, you need to look at the spirit behind all this. The spirit in Chicago is murder. The spirit with these 4 particular officers is murder. It's got nothing to do with race. Because if this was a racial thing, if blacks loved each other so much, if you will, and if they were doing things based off of race, then they wouldn't be this much killing in Chicago like it is. How are you gonna have this many people affected, 9 dead in Chicago over the course of 4 days? How? So don't tell me about this was based on race. It's not. It's based on murder and hate. That's what it's based on. And that's from these 4 cops, and that's from those people in Chicago. It's the same spirit. Sitting up here telling me about skin color. Listen, you better leave skin. You can't take this skin into heaven with you. So I say we need to focus and pray against these murderous spirits that's running amok. Enough is enough. And on that note, I'm signing out. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.